Now, today marks the 24th anniversary of diplomatic ties between South Korea and China. Since 1992, the two countries have seen enormous progress in areas ranging from trade and economy to culture and people-to-people ties. Of course, but in security ties, they remain divided, especially in recent days. A very strange relationship, but together yet divided. Our Kim Hyesung looks back at nearly a quarter century of bilateral relations in our news feature tonight.
19-year-old Guo Yi is one of some 90,000 Chinese nationals who have come to Korea to study.
I became interested in Korea's pop dance after watching Korean TV shows. So I decided to come and study here for at least 5 years, which I believe will give me more opportunities in the field of K-pop dancing.
Strengthening economic ties between Korea and China has led to an increase in people-to-people ties, with more people enjoying the other country's culture and studying their respective languages.
The number of Chinese studying in Korea has soared from just 3 in 1992 to 94,000 as of last year. Of course, the number of Chinese tourists visiting Korea continues to rise, many drawn by the so-called Korean wave or Hallyu, but also by Korean cosmetics and food.
I came here with my dad to try out different kinds of Korean food.
This love for culture is not a one-sided affair. Last year, more than 10 million tourists from the two countries visited each other. In downtown Seoul, there's even a movie theater that exclusively screens Chinese films. Not to mention all the Koreans learning the Chinese language. 3 out of 4 Korean universities offer courses.
The Chinese economy has grown enormously in recent years, which means more opportunities. Korea and China are close geographically and culturally, so I want to become fluent in Chinese so that I can act as a bridge between the two.
As such, South Korea and China are close partners. But just a few decades ago, such a rapport was unimaginable. The two faced off one another during the Korean War and stood on the opposite sides in terms of ideology during the Cold War era. It was only after several rounds of confidential talks that Seoul and Beijing normalized diplomatic ties.
August 24th, 1992 was a historic turning point for Korea and China, which reopened the door for diplomatic, economic, and cultural exchanges between the two that had been cut off for almost a century.
Since 1992, the two countries have brought about a diplomatic renaissance unprecedented in speed or scope, from a complementary and friendly relationship to a strategic cooperative one. Trade, the main driving force. Bilateral trade has increased almost 40-fold, from $6.3 billion in 1992 to $227 billion in 2015.
Normalization of relations was an economic win-win for both Korea and China. Korea benefited from China's rapid growth by exporting manufactured goods, while China benefited from Korean companies' investment, technology, and know-how.
Since 2010, the two sides have been seeing their economic relationship mature even further, extending to areas like finance and services, with growing foreign direct investment, currency swaps, and direct trading in Korean won and China's renminbi. In the span of 24 years, Korea and China have become closer in various ways. But as with any diplomatic partnership, not everything is rosy. As North Korea ratchets up tensions in the region, Seoul and Beijing face some challenges such as narrowing their differences on how to resolve geopolitical security issues. The two have recently differed over South Korea's deployment of the U.S. THAAD missile defense system.
North Korea remains a shadow over the two countries' strengthened ties. As the geopolitical security environment in Northeast Asia gets even more complicated, the two countries will have to use their soft power to address the challenges.
The key will be how the two countries use their economic ties and public diplomacy to find a mutually beneficial solution. Kim Hyesung, Arirang News.